With a news update on WHTC Holland's Cool FM, I'm Gary Stevens. A statewide one-day enforcement effort to move over may have passed, but the awareness of keeping first responders safe while attending to road emergencies hasn't. State police troopers, county sheriff's deputies, and local law enforcement officers in Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania staged increased 5-hour surveillance periods yesterday, looking to enforce and educate motorists on slowing down and moving over a lane when emergency vehicles with their beacon lights are on and are spotted on shoulders and in medians, while onboard GPS systems have helped drivers be aware of slowdowns ahead due to mishaps or construction. Staying aware behind the wheel is still paramount, according to Lieutenant Patrick Agema. He is with the 6th District of the Michigan State Police.
There's a lot of technology that has definitely helped improve with drivers driving down the road, but we still need to expect the unexpected when we're driving. Be patient. Delay is minor compared to risk that roadside workers face.
State officials are also promoting vehicle theft prevention and speed enforcement during the month of July. Has gas prices affected the mood to travel this summer? As of dawn this morning, the average price for a gallon of gas in Michigan, according to AAA's daily canvassing of stations, stood at $4.08. That's 3 pennies below yesterday, but a dime higher than the national mean of $4.02. The statewide level is up 21 cents in the past week, primarily due to the resumption of hostilities in the Middle East affecting crude oil futures worldwide, with increases of 11 cents from a month ago and 98 cents from this time last year. So, are people traveling less as a result? That question was posed to Adrian Woodland with the Auto Club Group in Dearborn.
We definitely saw for holidays, especially Memorial Day and 4th of July with our forecast, we saw that numbers were up, but the year-over-year increase, it wasn't that much. In some categories, it was about 1% increase compared to last year.
Along the Lakeshore, Ottawa County's morning average of $4.08 was 9 cents below that of neighboring Allegan County, and 8 pennies less than Kent County, but 4 cents more than Muskegon County. The former dean of students at Walden Green Montessori in Ferrisburg has pled guilty to a count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct against a person younger than 13 years old. The Ottawa County Prosecutor's Office claims 38-year-old Charles Freeman engaged in sexual abuse at his home and not at the school. He faces life in prison and sentencing in 20th Circuit Court in Grand Haven. That's been scheduled for August 24th. Voters in the Grand Haven Area Public Schools District will be asked to approve a bond proposal of $98.6 million in November. The school board unanimously approved the ballot question last night, saying it's the first phase of a long-term master plan. The money would pay for major renovations in 3 elementary schools, updated musical instruments, a district-wide technology refresh, and new school buses. The bond would cost the average taxpayer just over $33 a month when it's combined with a 10-year sinking fund that had been passed in 2024. Court documents in the case against Jalen Lipsy in Kalamazoo claim he tried to shoot Kalamazoo County Deputy Caleb Mortimer in the head during a scuffle last Friday morning. Lipsy shot Mortimer once in the thigh and tried to shoot him in the head, but the gun malfunctioned, prompting him to throw it down and then steal the deputy's cruiser. He then led police on a chase through the county at speeds of up to 125 miles an hour before he intentionally crashed into another deputy's cruiser near the sheriff's office and was subsequently arrested. Lipsy was arraigned yesterday on charges of assault with intent to murder a police officer, disarming a police officer, unlawful driving away of an automobile, and resisting and obstructing law enforcement. Bond was set at $1 million. Lipsy is back in court a week from today. Wyoming police are investigating the death of an 82-year-old woman who was found dead yesterday morning. A person of interest has been taken into custody in the matter in Indiana. Police haven't said yet how she died, but the Kent County Medical Examiner's Office has ruled her death a homicide. A person of interest was arrested by Indiana State Police near Fort Wayne after he led him on a chase over 100 miles an hour. Now, the suspect and the victim knew each other, but exactly the relationship has yet to be explained. Christopher Pops of Battle Creek is in the Kalamazoo County Jail waiting to be extradited to Alaska to face trial for the murder of 34-year-old Patrick Dirth 33 years ago. The two were co-workers at the time. Pops called an anonymous tip into Alaska State Police in January 2025 saying they had killed someone near Fairbanks. Troopers found Dirth's remains in a barrel off a steep highway embankment. Pops was indicted by a grand jury in June of this year and was arrested in the Cereal City. Medical precautions continue in the wake of an outbreak of cyclosporiasis in Michigan. The State Department of Health and Human Services has now chronicled over 6,100 cyclospora cases since May. Most have been in southeast Michigan. Health officials have interviewed about 2,600 victims as they continue to look for the cause of the intestinal illness. Now, over the past weekend, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration noted that tested lettuce samples from Taylor Farms turned out to be a false positive. Last Friday, the distributor to fast food chains such as Taco Bell, as well as to other retail outlets, said it was voluntarily removing iceberg lettuce, which had been sourced from central Mexico. Cyclosporiasis, which leads to sudden explosive diarrhea among its victims, is caused by a parasite, according to retired culinary allergist Dr. Alf Hurlwimmer.
The parasite that lives on those things loves the nutrition it gains from the vegetables, and it is also in the water that is sometimes used to spray the vegetables with irrigation and so on. Perfect environment for the parasite to grow.
There have been no recorded cases thus far in either Allegan or Ottawa counties. The convictions of 2 men in the Governor Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot have been reversed by the State Court of Appeals. Judges vacated the convictions yesterday of Pete Musico and Paul Ballar, a few weeks after the court also tossed the conviction of Joseph Morrison. The three had been found guilty of providing material support for an act of terrorism, but the appeals court ruled that Michigan's Anti-Terrorism Act does not consider kidnapping a terrorist act. State Attorney General Dana Nessel has begun the process to appeal what she is calling disastrous decision in Morrison's case, and will do so for Musico and Ballar as well. The wife of former State House Speaker Lee Chatfield will spend the next 6 months on probation after pleading guilty to a felony embezzlement charge. Stephanie Chatfield will be required to pay a $2,000 fine and complete 25 hours of community service. She had been charged with conducting a criminal enterprise, false pretenses, embezzlement of $100,000 or more, filing a false tax return, and embezzlement from a nonprofit or charitable organization. Lee Chatfield is still facing charges. His trial was scheduled to begin on September 21st. State House Speaker Matt Hall of Richland says Canada cannot manage the wildfires burning to the Great White North on its own, saying that they are in over their head and really need to have more collaboration with the United States on a solution. In an appearance over the weekend on the Lansing On the Record public television program, Hall said if Canada doesn't cooperate with solutions with the U.S., he endorses congressional efforts and sanctions, adding the first step is asking Canadians to explain the situation in State House committee hearings and not yelling at them about it. Both of the state's Big Ten schools will have new athletic department leadership at least by 2027. On the heels of last month's resignation of Jay Batt as Michigan State's athletic director, comes word yesterday that the University of Michigan is parting ways with Ward Manuel at the end of the calendar year. U of M President Domenico Grasso went to social media to explain the summary of an independent investigation into the culture of the Wolverines in the wake of last December's sudden dismissal of football coach Sharon Moore over a sexual affair with a staffer. It subsequently turned violent after his dismissal.
The broader culture review has identified serious concerns that require immediate action. These include failures in accountability, structural deficiencies, weaknesses in our reporting and support systems, and concerns about retaliation.
Manuel said led the athletic department for over a decade, including national championships in football and men's basketball. But there has also been turbulence over issues in various programs during his tenure. The school will not disclose the findings of the investigation at this point as the search process for a new AD begins. Meanwhile, John Palumbo is the interim leader at MSU with Batt's departure. Spencer Torkelson's 2-run single capped a 3-run Detroit 10th inning as A.J. Hinch's Tigers outlasted the Cubs in Chicago last night 8-6.
The wind's blowing out. Things can get a little bit crazy. It looked like every ball that was hit hard in the air, had a chance. We jump out, they come back. Game's never over. Even all the way at the end with Bregman 3-0 count. To come away with a win is a big character win for us.
The series at Wrigley Field continues this evening with coverage from Dan Dickerson at 7:40 p.m. on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. Andrew Benintendi's 3-run double broke a 2-2 tie and capped a 4-run Chicago 4th inning as the White Sox topped the Texas Rangers in Arlington last night 10-3.
Getting base runners, and I think for our lineup that's huge. They're getting us back in, the dugout with the bats in our hands, and clearly we're a pretty streaky team when we get some guys on, so it's been good.
The series at Globe Life Field in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex continues this evening. Idle last night, the West Michigan Whitecaps faced the Chiefs in Peoria this evening. Get the latest news anytime at WHTC.com.